As the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the house, my heart pounded in my chest like a drumbeat of impending doom. I watched in terror as the shadowy figure of the bearded man crept closer, the glint of an axe gripped tightly in his hand, sending a wave of icy dread coursing through my veins. It all began on a cold winter evening in January, the world shrouded in a thick blanket of snow that muffled every sound and swallowed every trace of life. The deserted road leading to the farmhouse I inherited from my late father seemed to stretch on endlessly, a solitary path winding through the desolate landscape. Finally home from the treacherous drive, I stumbled into the farmhouse, weary beyond measure, each step heavier than the last. The weight of exhaustion pressed upon me like a suffocating blanket as I trudged through the threshold. My job, once a routine of care and compassion, had transformed into an endless cycle of fatigue and stress. Caring for Betty, an elderly woman in town, had become more than a job. It was a relentless commitment, demanding every ounce of energy I possessed. And today, with her actively adding extra hours to my already stretched schedule, I barely had the energy to shed my coat and shoes before surrendering to the couch's embrace, succumbing to sleep's sweet oblivion. But my respite was short-lived, shattered by a sudden jolt of awareness that ripped me from the depths of slumber. My eyes snapped open to a scene straight from a nightmare, a face, framed by the darkness beyond the window, peering in with an unsettling intensity. Fear seized me in its icy grip, paralyzing me as I struggled to comprehend the surreal horror unfolding before me. Instinct drove me to action, my trembling fingers fumbling for my phone as I dialed 911. Desperation tainted my voice as I pleaded for help.
Please!
The operator's assurances
Please stay on
offered
the line.
little comfort as I awaited the arrival of the police, each passing moment stretching into eternity. When the officers finally arrived, relief flooded through me, mingled with lingering dread. But as they combed the snow outside for evidence of the intruder, their findings only deepened my unease. The officer spoke with authority and experience.
There are no footprints in the snow anywhere around this house. At least there weren't before I walked out there.
I sat quietly on my couch as the officers conducted their search inside the farmhouse. My head cocked instinctively as I heard a small sound from my tiny laundry room, almost like a broom shifting and hitting the wall. I jumped up. "Officers!" I yelled. I could hear them running toward me as a bearded man stepped out of my laundry room with an axe in hand. He crept toward me in a calculated manner as my mind raced, trying to make sense of the horrific situation. A sudden realization hit me like a brick. It was his reflection. I was seeing his reflection in the window,